All right, Henry McClure live. Um, we've got a lot of things going on at once today. We're going to be doing a Topeka Factor show, and I'm going to record live here. I'm going to make a couple of streams. So I actually have a microphone holder for this somewhere. I just hope this thing is working. I want to be filming Marshall same time when he gets in here. I'm live. Hang on. Morning. Good morning. I'm ready for the big picture. Let's go. Did you go to the city commission meeting last night? No, what happened?
No, I just wondered if you went.
We changed things up.
Okay. They were going to talk about this. I brought a couple of things.
Oh, you're live. We're live out on YouTube on Henry McClure Live. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I need to get the.
What is that?
That's another microphone.
Okay.
I need to. So we're ready over here to go live on my Facebook.
That's your Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do we still have that little thing around somewhere?
There's one. There's one.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. All right.
Whichever one you like.
Okay. Well, I'm already at my 3-drink minimum here. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and start Facebook Live here. Oh, okay. Today is what, the 22nd?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. See what I'm doing there.
And have you seen on Facebook this thing called the Cougar Club?
I have not.
Remember what a cougar was when you were young?
a big cat.
No, it was an older woman like younger guys.
Okay.
But now they all look young to me.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting observation when you get to be, let's see here. Okay, this is Facebook Live. And once again, it's time for the Topeka Factor, in which I team up with the estimable Henry McClure.
Estimable.
Yes.
No, wait a minute. What's that?
The estimable Henry McClure. There he is.
All right. Good morning.
Getting all of the apparatus ready for the various feeds that the Topeka Factor is engaged in, including but not limited to Twitter.
We're going to be today. We're going to go live on. Right now we're live on YouTube here.
Live on YouTube. There we go.
Yeah.
We finally hit the big time.
And then we're going to be live over here on my Facebook.
Okay.
As of 3, 2, 1.
All
we're
right.
live. We are live on my Facebook. And well, there we go.
Oh, so that's your Facebook over there.
Yeah.
Want to say hi to everybody on Henry's Facebook.
And we'll see if we get anybody to tune in.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Well, you know what do we want to talk about today?
So far, I'm getting 0. But
oh, wait.
I
forgot I could go live here on Twitter.
I get this slow connection thing, and I never know what that
means. Don't worry about it. Hey, do you want to go on TikTok or Twitter?
Oh, well, by all means.
Which one?
Let's tweet away.
Tweet away.
Yeah.
Or X away.
We will tweet away till the cows come home. I was wondering, as far as the Topeka Factor goes, we're going to be, now there's a comment you're getting from somebody. Which one is that? Oops.
Oh, those are my email notifications that show up.
Okay. Later on today on my Facebook Live, we're going to go take a look at that building at 727 Kansas that I was talking about last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet my friend Christine down there, and she's a historian of some note.
Do I get to go?
You could.
What time is
1:30.
All right. I don't want to horn in on your deal. I'm just an observer.
Well, you might have some ideas for maximum use of the building, because this is one of those, the building's been appraised as is for $350,000. And of course, we are trying to figure out a way to redevelop the building, if that's what needs to be done, and make it a profitable situation for somebody.
Well, that's the only reason you should do a real estate deal.
Christine might have a few ideas. You might have a few ideas.
So I went to the riverfront last night.
Why did you do that?
Well, because they had at the Great Overland Station.
Okay. And
they did a very good job promoting the upcoming, proposed changes.
Right.
But what, if I put on my county commissioner hat,
okay,
which I want to be, basically
want to say hi to Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. I basically want to be like the street commissioner.
Okay.
I want to make sure we've got good streets. Back in the day, remember when you used to have a water commissioner, a street commissioner, a police commissioner?
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring back the days of old. You're going to just hear me talk about street. But here's the thing. Let's talk about the riverfront real quick. Number one, I'd like to see who's funding this thing right now, who's going to profit, and do the taxpayers want to even do it?
And what's been proposed exactly?
Well, it's a very elaborate plan. There's 3 different plans. Greg Schwert is the architect.
Okay.
And I'll post up on this the link, and if you can watch it live on my Twitter feed. I posted it on Twitter, went live on Twitter.
Okay.
And but
let's say hi to Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Lee's down in Texas.
What part of Texas?
He, I believe, is in the Dallas area.
I love Dallas.
Yeah.
The Big D.
Yeah.
Lee, indeed.
Home of the Kessler Theater.
Now, what's the big deal about that?
in the Oak Cliff neighborhood where Jimmy Vaughn grew up. And the Kessler Theater is a beautiful little facility with sitting capacity, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, 2,000 or so, maybe not that much, but it's the best place in the world to go see a live show.
So,
Anyway, live music is something that we are working on for Topeka. And,
I want to do a jazz club.
this is part of my thinking on looking at the building at 727 is I'm wondering if one of the downtown retail spaces would make a jazz club. And my question for you actually was I saw your post on that, and I wondered what your concept is. How do we what kind of a facility do you envision?
Well, look,
What kind of seating, what kind of cover charge, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, I think this is something that's got to evolve. I'm open to ideas. I think sometimes it takes the collective to get behind it. If there's a lot of people that like jazz gets behind the idea, well, then more people kind of pitch in to what it should be.
Well, I've been to the Green Lady Lounge in Kansas City just once.
Where's that?
The Green Lady Lounge is a jazz club.
Okay, but I mean, like, where is it? Like, if I were going to start driving there today, how would I get there?
It's over by 18th and Main.
Okay.
Right on Main Street.
Oh, man, ain't that like, there's a lot of stuff going on down there. Isn't that where the Black Baseball Museum is?
That's over, I think, at 18th.
I think they called it the Negro Leagues back then.
Yeah. But the Green Lady Lounge had upstairs, downstairs, 2 different levels of live jazz. And the cover charge was only $5, but they had probably, I want to say, 200 people in there at midnight on a Saturday night.
See, Topeka to me goes to sleep too early.
Well, that's,
I don't mind being up at midnight, having a cup of coffee and listening to jazz.
Well, yeah, that's one of my questions as far as what's the market for jazz going to be. I remember when my old friend Dan Kozak, rest his soul, was putting on the Coleman Hawkins Jazz Festival. And that's another thing we might want to consider reviving. The festival, he was one of these, it was a nonprofit festival, in other words.
I mean, we can play jazz music on Kiwi.rock, can't we?
Well, I would hope so.
I'm just praying right now.
I've sure got some.
Hey, I'm praying right now that my Jamie in the Philippines resurfaces.
Okay.
He was working with me, and they had a huge power outage.
Right.
And he hasn't resurfaced in a while.
I'm going to flip this back around. Marshall Barber, Facebook Live.
Yeah. Hey.
Over here at the.
Oh, here let me refresh this over here, and then that way I can see you.
McClure.
We should be able to see your live feed right here. There you are.
Say hi to Christy. So we're getting a few people joining us on Facebook Live. This is the Topeka Factor, a program in which myself and Henry McClure
This is the Topeka Factor,
are discussing.
Myself and Henry McClure.
I got to turn that off.
Are discussing myself and Henry McClure.
Yeah, that's kind of distracting to have the monitor playing even while we're talking.
But you got 4 people going?
Yeah. Actually, it's up to 5 now.
All right. Sorry about that.
Speaking of,
hey, look,
speaking of jazz, there's a note here. Sadly, David Sanborn passed away last week, one of your leading saxophone players in the country. Today is also, speaking of jazz, the birthday anniversary of the immortal Sun Ra.
Now, who's that?
Who's Sun Ra?
Look, I'm here with the expert.
This is. Let me back up. The universe is Sun Ra. So ask not who is Sun Ra. Ask rather who are we.
Oh, okay.
No, Sun Ra was the.
Well, the Egyptians just called it Ra.
He was a jazz musician,
right? I don't think they said Sun Ra, did they?
I don't know what they said, but
walk like an Egyptian.
Sun Ra used to say, "Space is the place," and he passed to another, he transitioned to another level of existence many years ago. But today is his birthday anniversary, celebrated widely around the world. And I'm sure
happy birthday.
if you were to tune in WWOZ in New Orleans tonight, the guy that does the night show, I'm sure will be rolling lots of Sun Ra. Also say hi to David here, who just dialed in.
Hey, good morning, David. How you doing?
But when it comes to jazz, he has a saxophone player named Marshall Allen, who is like 96 years old.
All right, give me 1 minute. Let me.
This guy.
Sorry about that.
Let me try to.
This guy Marshall Allen still is the director of the Sun Ra Band when it plays in Brooklyn.
This guy,
Can we touch the monitor? I can't.
still the director.
Can't hear myself think.
All right. I'm sorry. Here it is, right there. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah. Getting a little feedback there. Now up in Detroit.
Hey, look.
We're seeing Bob.
You get what
Cosby.
you pay for as far as technical people.
Okay, here we go for you're a Dallas man. Lee says the best place in Dallas for jazz is the Windspear Opera House.
Is that in the West End?
That would be a question, Lee. Is that in the West End of Dallas? So the speaker factor actually rather quickly spreads out into other metropolitan areas. We're in Dallas and Detroit simultaneously.
Who do we got in Detroit?
Which is kind
Is
of
that
cool.
the music guy?
We got Bob Kosky.
I like Bob.
And
Bob's a good guy.
so anyway, Bob says hi, and we haven't heard yet on whether the Jazz Windspear Opera House is in West Dallas or what.
Now, one of the things in the Riverfront Authority project was,
That you went to last night.
was
Okay.
an amphitheater,
Uh-huh.
which would be a good place to have jazz. Water's soothing,
Yes.
but what I want to do, I want to make sure
Except
with
when
this,
it's in your basement.
yes,
Okay.
but
That Opera House is on the east side of Dallas.
all
A
right.
little update there.
So what I want to do is I want to make sure the voting public has buy-in to this project. I want to make sure the voters, everybody buys into it. If we're going to use tax dollars, that it's their project, not just a select few.
Is this a project that has been labeled and discussed?
Well, we're in that process. But what happens is in deals like this, things get steamrolled.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure that before we start any more big projects in the community, that we fix our streets. Let's get some nice streets. Let's make sure we're putting our money where we want it to go. And then everybody's on board.
Right. Okay.
All right. What else?
So
You got a bunch of stuff there.
what's the timeline on this riverfront thing? What's the next step, or do we know?
Well, no, but I'm in it. I'm into it.
What exactly is being proposed over there?
Well, they've got three different versions that, like they introduced them. It was kind of hard to see, but one of the things they really had cool, they had interactive voting. You could get online. I couldn't vote because I was broadcasting.
Okay.
But so they've hired an expert that's done riverfront projects, and they've got Greg Schwert working with them.
Okay.
And
So this would be something on the north side of the river.
well, I
Or
think it's
is that
really
even
to connect Noto
Mm-hmm.
and it's to connect north and south.
Okay. Okay. Well, it actually sounds kind of promising.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what we really need to do is also look at stuff in the west and into the east. Fool's Landing out there would be kind of a neat place.
Where's that?
It's on the very east side
Of
it's on the east side,
okay.
out 2nd Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, way out there.
Way out there. Okay.
It's about where they found that dead body of that guy.
Yeah.
many years ago. The
Uh,
chicken guy.
Okay. Well, I didn't go to the city council meeting last night.
I didn't. I feel better for it.
Well, they were going to be discussing the consultant's findings about the homeless situation here in Topeka. And let me put my glasses on so I can read the article.
What do you say?
There were a number of recommendations from.
Like give him a house?
Well, let's see.
Hey,
Investing in both a low barrier shelter and a tiny home village. And they're talking about how many homes? 8? Building 8 tiny homes. Yeah, an 8-unit tiny home village, which would include a detached space for residents complete with small kitchens and baths, and would hire out its residents to maintain the community and have on-site case management to help people get into longer-term housing. Now, this is just one piece.
it's not the answer, but I mean, I think it's one of these things where you got to say every little bit helps, but giving people housing isn't the answer.
Creating a homeless resource center. And this could be one of those really large,
I thought that's what the library was.
yeah, kind of amorphous things.
Sorry.
Now, this is what makes my head explode about
being
this kind of
homeless is not funny.
It isn't.
No, it's not.
But see, here.
I mean, that's what Go Topeka is trying to do to me, make me homeless
well,
by not giving me any economic development money.
Darn them anyway. This is the kind of thing, though, that drives me absolutely crazy. When you God bless them all, but when you get into government-related things, here's a phrase: creating a community coalition.
Well, no, that's
supporting
good.
Action that reduces homelessness.
But how much did we pay for all that?
How many of these
No,
coalitions?
what did we pay for that? The consultant for that?
That I'm not sure if the article. Oh, $76,080.
I mean,
There's
next time they want to do another one, we'll do it for 40.
yeah. That's getting the word about.
This is insane.
Creating a community
Of how much money we spend on consultants.
Well,
and see, this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to get the riverfront right now. Let's reel it in before the consultants go crazy, and let's get the public involvement.
Now, okay, Bob says he's looking at KSNT's reports on the riverfront and the homeless. Do we have some way of bringing that up? This report?
No, I need another
haven't seen it.
computer.
Huh?
I need another computer, another monitor. I got it up there,
Okay.
but that's for another day.
Okay. So apparently KSNT does have a report on the riverfront and the homeless, and maybe we can look into that at our leisure. Or maybe Bob.
Remember when you used to do the show out at WIBW?
Right. Maybe Bob could just give us a summary.
Yeah, well, let's bring Bob in. Why didn't he call us?
He could.
We can do that.
If he had the number.
785-235-3353. We'll link him in.
Bob says he's trying to bring himself up to speed. By the way, if you're watching me on Facebook Live, and I'll flip back over to me. Here I am in my white hat. This is the Topeka Factor.
Live in the Henry McClure Live studios.
A joint production with Henry McClure, noted local commercial real estate broker. And what we do is in a very informal, some would say incoherent fashion.
We ought to do a real estate show.
The nuances of Topeka.
And maybe the Topeka Factor should be maybe just a real estate show.
Yeah, we do.
Right now, we're the Seinfeld of talk shows.
Oh, well, okay.
But that's okay.
You can be Seinfeld. I'll be Larry David.
I would, Kramer was the star, but I'm not in it, and he fallen down, and he kind of had a falling out with the universe with some of his.
He did.
Yes, he did.
What
an idiot.
He expressed himself very poorly on one occasion.
Yes.
And
a very sore subject.
had a.
Hey, do you watch Gutfeld?
I try not to.
Why? You don't like him? Too far right for you? He's a libertarian.
I don't mind his politics that much. I just don't like his general smirky demeanor.
Too smug for you?
I
like Cat Tim.
Bill Maher went on Gutfeld.
Yeah, they actually agreed on something the other day.
What they're doing, which I, by the way, totally agree with, is they're trying to heal or bridge, I should say, the divide in this country. And Bill Maher had a big article in the Wall Street Journal the other day on precisely this issue. And you can see it in Kansas. You can see it everywhere where people are deciding they hate each other just because they disagree.
Something, I woke up today and I see the divide where my head's divided with resentments against the chamber.
Okay.
But what's happened is
the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, really. So
want to say hi to Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Say hi to Lynn.
Lynn.
This is the Topeka Factor. Welcome to the Topeka Factor. We're just kind of, one more time on the phone number, then we can get Bob on.
785-235-3353.
Bob Koski, our Detroit correspondent, is going to summarize the contents of the KSNT report on the riverfront and the homeless.
All right, we'll get
only on the Topeka Factor do we get live correspondence.
We'll get it to where Bob can dial in.
This is great. Oh, now we've got another major metropolitan area, Ellen, from LA.
I love LA.
Well,
I used to. I lived in Long Beach.
Ellen loves the real estate values out there, and
she can have it though now.
Mm-hmm.
Ask her, hey Ellen, have you ever been to the Lakewood Mall?
Ellen, the question is, have you been to the Lakewood Mall?
In Lakewood, California.
In Lakewood, California.
It's in LA County.
In LA County.
It was the first planned unit development built in 1952 by Eichenbaum. That was Mace Rich's. After we bought White Lakes, we bought the covenant to operate Lakewood.
Okay. So there's a question. I don't know if we're going to get an answer or not.
Never know.
But if we do, I will certainly share it. Once again, this is, he can't get back. Review the phone number 785-235.
3353. Well, just film it.
He says to say it slower so he can write it down.
785-235-3353.
There you go. So let's see. So far, we've got Dallas, we've got LA, and we have Detroit.
So I lived out there for a decade between
tuned into the
Belmont Shore and Ventura.
Okay.
And Casita Springs.
Right.
Bianca was actually born in Ventura, my daughter.
You know, I've had friends who've lived in Southern California and then moved back here. And they all say it's so much easier to live around here.
Oh, yeah.
Than SoCal. But
I'll tell you what has worse infrastructure than LA was Tampa.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you couldn't. It's like it'll never catch up with the amount of growth that they have there. Imagine Shawnee County cut in thirds, like 1/3 of Shawnee County, like my District 2.
Yeah.
And 1 million people living in it.
1 million people.
1 million people living.
I'm going to show you District 2 here, sports fans. There it is.
Pinellas County was the densest county in the country, probably filled with the densest people I've ever met.
Yeah, you're.
So I help the averages by moving out.
You're talking Gaza-style density there. We should be hearing from Bob pretty soon. Lee reports that real estate is going crazy out way north of Dallas in Prosper and Salina. And yeah, I mean, if you go, when I drove down to Dallas to see Jimmy Vaughn, it was like one continuous metro almost from the Oklahoma border south. And
really?
Yeah. Yeah. All these suburbs now are just reproducing like
all the from Oklahoma to Dallas, one suburb.
Yeah. Well, it seems like one continuous metropolitan area.
That's big.
Then they got this big fat casino right on the border on the Oklahoma side, which I'm sure is draining millions from the Dallas metro every day.
Hey, the Indians are getting their payback.
Yeah, now let's see. Bradford Joseph Ravel is watching on Facebook
Hello,
Live.
Bradford.
Once again on Facebook Live. If you're wondering what's going on, this is the Speaker Factory.
How come we're not hearing from Bob?
This is something we do every Wednesday. It's something I do in
Get Bob's number. I'll call
Henry
him.
McClure's headquarters over here. Multimedia. We're on. Let's see. Now, what is that? Is that
Sorry.
a phone call?
No, I was calling. I was just.
It's one thing to have technology. It's another thing
To know how to use it.
Know how to use technology. So, would we have a one-stop homeless resource center in Topeka? A 3-day per week resource center would seek to connect homeless people with already available services in the city. Beyond basic necessities,
Hello?
would also have on-site services
Leon.
to help get people employed, enroll kids in daycare, offer health services, and guide people to shelter. So these are the ideas for alleviating the homeless situation in Shawnee County. And I know how.
Hey, wait, look, we got incoming.
In California, there was like a multi-billion-dollar proposal from the governor's office to address the homeless situation.
Call from.
Here's a call.
Hello, Marshall. Hello, Henry.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right.
All right. I think we have Bob on the line with us now. At least
Are you there, Bob?
From the Motor City.
All right. What's going on?
Oh, enjoying some strange balmy weather up here. We've been in the mid-80s for the last 4 days, which is highly unusual for Michigan at this time of the year. We're having another mid-80s day today, so I think it's supposed to get cooler. But so much for the weather report. Luckily, I happen to have the 1-minute report from KSNT, and I can sort of read the closed captioning. I can maybe recite what's going on this on this video clip. If you will humor me, I'll try to recite this. Hopefully, I'll get this correct.
Okay.
This may take a little bit of fast reading on my part.
Want to say hi to Jim and Jamie. And
Okay, here we go. Are you ready for my
We're ready.
my transcription here?
it's the summary
Here we
of the
go.
KSNT report on homelessness.
Educate
And riverfront
project.
District that will connect the Kansas River to downtown Topeka and other amenities.
Topeka's riverfront.
Are you playing the video?
Held an open house. Yeah. I guess there's 3 design concepts being presented, and the council is saying they're trying to, I guess, push this project so that it'll be the catalyst between downtown and the river, the walking bridges across the river, envisioning restaurants, bars, maybe amphitheaters, skate parks, volleyballs on the sand. The advisory council says they hope to have a. I guess they're having an online poll for the next 2 weeks. So, asking the public for their opinion on the project.
We've got another viewer that called in. Blaine Baird's on. We're live in the studio.
Hey, what's going on, Henry?
Well, we've got who's up in the Motor City?
Bob Koski and
We got Bob
Detroit.
in Detroit working, and we're live out on YouTube, 2 Facebooks, and I just hung up on my Twitter. But hey, Blaine is hopefully going to help write a book about some real estate things that have happened here in Topeka. I bought him Dana K. Anderson's book, like him to read it first. And then what I really like to do is pick up the Macerich Company's history while we've got Dana K. Anderson, turning 90. Well, hey, so Bob, are you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to walk on your report. I did want to.
Oh, no. I was having trouble trying to read the flashing closed captions on the video, but it sounds like they're correct me if I'm wrong. They're bouncing these several ideas off of the Topeka residents to see if they're in favor of this.
Yeah, it was a really good presentation last night. I enjoyed it. Very professional. I just want to make sure, that the voters are all for this. I believe sometimes projects get steamrolled, and if the public, I want the public to have buy into it. But here's the main thing about that riverfront. Let's look at it like a real estate deal, and it should stand on its own. How can this project be profitable to Topeka? Everything, we just can't do everything and have everything if we're just going to have more taxes. So how can private enterprise, where does the public-private partnership begin and end? And anyway, do we really want it? And so if it doesn't pencil economically, well, maybe it gets scaled down. If I read go ahead.
Go ahead.
Say hi to Dave.
Well, I read a report the other day that 40% of all the money printed has been in the last 12 months. And so if spending is just out of control worldwide, nationwide, we just can't continue to spend money without revenues. That's my whole thing with government, is they know how to dole out money, and economic development to them is just doling out money. So,
as well as assembling coalitions.
Is the U.S. government, are they involved with the with a partial funding of the Topeka project?
Well, I want to know. I want to know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Blaine.
We had it was it's been a long time. It took quite a few years to kind of clean up the Detroit River.
I'm going to tune you out. If you want to come on into the studio, come on in. We'll put you on live.
Center built. So it was back around 1975, 76. They had to clear a lot of old warehouses, and there was some storage silos along the riverfront. All of that had to be removed, but it was a lengthy project. But now, after all these years, the Detroit Riverfront project has made some terrific inroads, and now a lot of people walk along the Detroit River, along the riverfront, going all the way from one end of Detroit. Well, this would be sort of, I wish I could give you a mileage here as to how many miles it is, but it's quite lengthy. There's one section where they can't have the river walk go all the way because of other things that are other businesses that are in the way. It would require the city of Detroit to purchase things over there. And plus, we also have a river. We have a tugboat that delivers mail to the freighters on the Detroit River, and it's called the J.W. Westcott, and it has its own zip code. The only boat.
It's got its own zip code.
The tugboat has its own zip code? Well, so
I'm sorry, what was that?
The tugboat has its own zip code.
Exactly. Yes.
We're talking about Detroit, by the way. This is Facebook Live.
That go upriver and downriver along the Detroit River.
Want to say hello to Hi.
They can't. So they can't.
We have Bob
they would have
Kosky
to
on the phone
circumvent that
from Detroit.
that tugboat operation. But farther west downriver is a new park called Riverfront Park, and this has been this is a recent addition. They're really doing a nice job cleaning up the riverfront.
Well, this,
But it's been a lengthy piecemeal project.
Well, so
I
let's
wonder- I'm
let's
wondering-
talk about the historical. How long have they been at it?
want to say hi to
Lordy.
Bob.
I would say
Hi, Bob.
realistically maybe about 30 years. I think since the mid-90s.
Well, I wonder what kind of input, if any, on this riverfront project. I noticed we have one of our local artists, Stockwell.
I know old High from the College Hill days.
He's a Noto artist of considerable repute. I'm wondering, has the artistic community from Noto been consulted on this riverfront project?
Ask High. Ask
because-
High to weigh in.
Because that would be, it seems to me, that would be kind of a de rigueur thing if you're going to talk about developing the riverfront, to involve the artistic community, which is substantial, which is already in Noto and well established.
I'm with you.
I don't know, in the Detroit area project that you're talking about there, Bob, is there an artistic component to that?
A little bit, yes. There are sculptures, and there is been some deliberate efforts
Okay.
That Elio?
create some nice aesthetic in the area.
Speaking of,
I could let's see if I'm trying to get some information here for you.
while you're doing
regarding,
that, while you're doing
Hey
that,
Bob,
let me-
if you want to take a risk and friend me on Facebook, I'd sure love to know more about your. I know you'll be guilty by association by knowing Henry McClure.
Oh. Well, any
That
friend
could
of
provoke-
Marshall's is a friend of
Oh
mine,
man, he's
so.
a dear friend of mine.
that could provoke questions.
So.
Hey, if I could say something about art real quick, the Helping Hands Humane Shelter, number one, there's two things about Helping Hands I wanted to throw in this morning. Number one, they are completely full.
You mean no kennels?
They've stopped taking stray dogs because
Oh,
it's full
man.
of capacity. So if you've ever thought
Go
about
down there and
adopting
get
a
a
dog,
dog.
this would be a great time to do that.
Go get a dog out of
Cats.
jail.
Cats, on one hand, are flying out the window. Plenty of room for cats, but they've got,
Cats are free range.
they got a lot.
No,
of
actually,
runway.
I think I was talking to Julie, who owns Doggy Daycare,
Okay.
but cats are free range. They can just roam
Yeah.
and not you can't get cat at large.
Somebody's kitty killed a bird in my front yard the
Man,
other
but
day.
there's a
So anyway,
new store.
the second thing about Helping Hands and art,
Go ahead, shut up, Henry.
we got a big art auction going on at Helping Hands. And
When's the art auction?
it's going to start. It's online.
Oh,
You can pick it up right now. Just
Okay.
go to Helping Hands Humane Shelter.
well, let's promote that.
And I think they're even they're continuing to take donations as well. And I can't remember what the end date is for the art auction. It'll be at least a week, I believe, from today. And once you dial up the website, that'll tell you.
Man, I can't go to. I mean, last time I went to the Helping Hands, I see these dogs and they look at me and they're saying like, "Bust me out of jail," get me out of jail.
Right.
And God, it's such a sad affair.
Which actually the accommodations there are not prison-like at all. They take very good care of
Well,
them.
I know,
But yeah, the dogs get
it's been
that
a long time
winsome,
since he's been in jail.
the dogs get that winsome expression like, "Won't you please take me home?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of them out there. Great selection to choose from. If
Hey,
you'd like to drop by Helping Hands out there on Southwest 21st.
Hey, speaking of being adopted, you can go to take your luggage. If you got a used piece of luggage, take it down to the Coldwell Banker people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a thing for foster kids.
Oh,
So when a kid gets adopted, he's not moving in plastic bags. And so I took a couple of pieces of luggage that I had
so would that include like backpacks and
yeah,
really good condition?
backpacks, anything. When you got nothing,
Okay.
when you get down to nothing, a backpack is great.
Is that the Coldwell Banker office over on 29th?
Yeah. 222.
Yeah.
Southwest 29th.
29th and McVicker.
Hey, Bob, you with me?
Yep.
So
Well,
I want to learn more about this riverfront in Detroit and a tugboat that's got its own zip code.
You know, how do we get our own tugboat?
So
Yeah, I have to make a correction regarding the date. Park Plaza was the first phase of improving the riverfront. They knocked down an auditorium called Ford Auditorium, named that was paid for by the Ford family, as in Henry Ford, the Ford Motor Company. But they knocked it down because that auditorium, which was the former home of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, was an acoustic nightmare, and the DSO hated playing there. It sounded like crap, and so the DSO moved back to their original acoustically perfect building called Orchestra Hall, which is on Woodward Avenue in Detroit. Well, anyway, after the removal of Ford Auditorium, they created Hart Plaza at the foot of Woodward, starting around 1975. And like I say, this has been a piecemeal project. In 2007, they created the GM Plaza and Promenade, also called the River Walk, and that was started in 2007. And it has a 5.5 mile promenade called the River Walk, which extends from the Ambassador Bridge, which is our bridge that goes over to Canada, all the way to Belle Isle. But it's been a piecemeal project, and but they're coming along. It's just there's always new surprises and new parks and new walks that they create. I'm unclear as to whether the city of Detroit has to purchase the property out, from whoever owns the property along the river. But it's been it's been a long work in progress, but it's starting to really look nice. But it may take. Obviously Topeka's riverfront probably isn't as long, and I think it probably would be doable.
Well, Topeka's Riverfront Authority goes from county to county, from county line to county
Oh, really?
line. Yeah.
So is a river walk part of this proposal?
Well, so I'll have to get you up to speed on all the three ideas. The one that I liked the most had kind of up on the levees more infrastructure.
Okay.
But I got an alert from a friend of mine that works. There's that if Tuttle Creek decides to open up their water,
okay,
the tributary is still a drainage district, the Kansas River. So what happened when we had the really high rains not too long ago is that the drains didn't work on the other sides of the levee because the water had nowhere to go. Remember when the river got up so high?
Absolutely.
So there's still some drainage issues that really need
so
to be
if the river,
addressed.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that.
Do
I'm just saying it's a fact.
Do those issues need to be resolved?
Yes, they have to be considered.
Yeah. Okay. Want to say hi to Nancy?
Your ex-wife?
No.
I've been in Topeka. I visited Marshall a couple of times. Is this along the Kansas River? And if so, is it going to run from, let's say, the bridge, the US 75 bridge,
Facebook Live,
down to, let's say, Topeka Boulevard, that bridge over there?
Well, so right now the focus of the study was between the two bridges on Kansas Avenue and Topeka Boulevard.
Will there be sludge in the drain?
Gotcha.
Well, think about there was
There's
another.
like a railroad track there's a railroad track that runs through there. Is that still usable, or is it?
Yeah, the railroad track is on but it flanks the Topeka Boulevard Bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
That crosses Kansas Avenue.
Yeah, and then it crosses further south on another trestle.
Right. Yeah, then it goes
I-
south, and then that's Union Pacific, I believe.
The UP.
Yeah, I believe.
My great grandfather was a conductor on the UP. Henry.
Oh, my grandfather was with Southern Pacific a long time ago, back in the early 1900s.
He was
Well,
a
the
steel
funny
driving
joke was
man.
I saw UP on a rail car. Not that funny.
Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. What was it?
Yeah, there you go.
Joke about that.
Sorry there. Sorry.
Yeah,
I digress. But it was a clean joke. You could tell that one in church.
it was a big. Yeah,
If he went to church.
I think UP that joke would be referred to as comic relief. Get it?
Mhm.
God.
Now I went to the
Get it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Relief.
Comic relief. UP. Oh, you got. We got to make him a regular on the show. Actually, you're becoming a
Actually,
regular.
Marshall.
Bob would be, when we talk about reviving Kiwi rock, Bob would be a very important contributor to that.
Good.
Because when I had the Rock House show, Bob very generously supplied a lot of material for Rock
Well,
House.
I think what
So
I need to do in here is like build.
there's room in here to build a studio.
Yeah, I need to build a studio in here.
And we could be reviving the spirit of Big
I
Kiwi.
like this table and this setup better than the high top we
There was
had
a big rock and roll station in Detroit, CKLW, Windsor, Ontario, that Bob knows all about, and so we
Oh yes,
we have a
I
lot
grew
of
up on that radio station.
See, you got room right there for a guest in that chair.
yeah. I'm gonna show this here.
I just have to fly in. Just have to or drive in to make the what is that? A 9-hour drive, I think it is, from Detroit to
Big
to
T-town,
Topeka, I think.
but it's worth every minute.
10 hours or something. I think it was.
So we're drowning in the social media. We've got my live on Facebook. You're live on Facebook.
I'm live on Facebook.
We're
yes.
out here on Twitter. Or no, I changed over to TikTok.
This is your freeform
And this is live
Topeka
on
real estate
Facebook.
show.
Or YouTube, sorry. So how long you want to
Now,
do?
Henry,
Yes, sir?
Henry, is this your office, Henry? The what I'm looking at right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of the office.
Yeah, this is
It's the studio component
the
of McClure Enterprises.
the picture there is Harry Darby gave that to my grandfather. He was friends with Ike. Then these are my my attempt to get to know the districts. I'm running for county commissioner. So this is District 2, and
Here's
inside
two sports fans.
District 2, there are city council districts 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I see.
So
So the highlighted blue is
Looking at your
District 2,
maps.
right?
yeah, so my goal as a county commissioner is to basically make sure that we get our streets, and I'm also concerned about our safety.
Okay, we've got three things here to talk about with your county commission race. If I can boldly interject,
You absolutely
if
can.
I can boldly, perhaps egotistically interject myself. into
I
this.
like the sound effects box.
When
Oh, are you getting that?
Yes, I hear it.
getting one,
So the sound effects.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it came in loud and clear.
When it comes to Shawnee County,
Yes, sir.
a big issue, big
The
issue.
law is as clear as a bell.
The two big issues would be, as you mentioned, public safety.
Right.
Okay, there's that. Then another issue, if I could hear from any homeowners out there, property taxes.
Well, yes.
And
Well,
property taxes are out of control.
I'll let you interject. Okay,
Yeah.
go.
That's probably the extent of my interjection, except that
Well, let's.
there is this petition drive going on. Did you read about that?
Yeah, I've got it here. I want you to sign it.
I will sign it.
I have the petition in my office. Thank you, Eric.
There's a petition going on about
Oh man.
property tax increases. And you know, if you've got a fairly nice house in Shawnee County, you're going to spend $5 or $6 grand a year buying it back from the county every year.
So
Is what it boils down to.
my good friend Earl McIntosh.
That's the guy with the petition draft.
Yes, and
right?
I've got a
Yes.
copy of the petition. You can come in to my office here at 3625 Southwest 29th Street, right across from Raintree, and sign the petition.
And how many signatures are needed, and what is this petition
Well, I
going to
think
accomplish?
we have, I think we have enough signatures to submit it, but the whole idea is that before we're going to raise our property taxes, the people can vote on it.
So
I'll
Okay.
post information about the petition and a copy of the petition. You want me to go get it? Well, anyway, I'll post it on your live under this, okay?
yeah, we want to say hi to Rich and to another member of the Topeka West Class of '69, Marla, dialing in on Facebook Live.
What's Marla's last name?
Once again, this is the Topeka Factor on Facebook Live with Henry McClure,
I guess it doesn't
coming
matter.
to you from the.
It's like an AA
Oh
meeting.
well, it's Marla Malloy, Marla Firestone Malloy,
All right.
and her classmate Nancy Thompson Kohaki was tuned in earlier. I don't know if they're both still watching or not on Facebook Live, but it's nice to have folks dialing in and watching Facebook Live and the Topeka Factor, which, by the way, moves to 727 South Kansas. This beautiful old building we're going to be touring at 1:30 this afternoon. So you might want to be watching for that here on. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, if I may interject, sorry. I noticed that it's the distance from the what is that? The Addie what is it? The Westgate Memorial Bridge, all the way over to the bridge that is Topeka Boulevard. Is a 3 miles by the way the crow flies. So
Yeah.
that distance would be doable, I think, if they were planning a riverfront.
A river walk.
A redo.
A river walk. Yes, that could be
A river
interesting.
walk or something.
All right.
And
Want to say hi to Bill?
well, anyway,
Hello, Bill.
I don't know what more I can interject here, but
Well, I definitely want to. I definitely want to know if it what maybe by happenstance it's the same consultant that Topeka hired, and I was looking at their interactive way to get comments. So I'm going to look and see if Detroit was one of their projects they did. But
that would be a good question.
yeah, I'd like to learn more about it. I think that's one of the main things that I want to do as a county commissioner is to engage the public more.
District 2.
Yeah, District 2. I think we have, we're way too incestuous as far as people all being on the same boards and in the, you get a click. It's so hard to introduce new ideas if you can't get people, we got to have random people to be able to get involved with our community.
So we just coming up on June the 6th. I know this doesn't have anything to do with Topeka, but Detroit's been making quite a few inroads as far as getting the inner city cleaned up. Of course, the outer residential areas, are unsightly, but compared to the way we looked about 20 years ago, it looks a hell of a lot better. In Detroit, we just hosted that NFL draft, and we got a lot of positive comments from visitors, and we were very happy about that. The city was very happy, and when people come down to Detroit now, the place bustles after 5 p.m. It used to be you'd go downtown Detroit and they'd roll up the sidewalks after 5 p.m. And now there's people walking everywhere down there.
And you feel safe?
I feel safe walking around there. Yeah, downtown. Yeah, I do. They've done a beautiful job there. The center epicenter, I guess it's called Campus Martius, and that's the same two-word area that was around during the early 1900s. So there's always been a Campus Martius, and well, anyway, they're my crazy. Oh, are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
He turned off
Oh,
on
okay.
his for some reason.
Well,
I think what I'm going to
okay.
have to do is I think I'm going to have to bring in a hardwire and have a better wireless component here in this studio.
what had happened was Lee down in Dallas says that he thinks the Facebook might
He
have.
says the sound keeps going in and out.
Yeah. So I thought I'd turn off and turn back on to see if it made any difference.
Well, yeah. And I think, we're still in the,
If you can excuse,
I make a living. I make a
Excuse me
living
for
trying
just-
to sell real estate.
speaking of which, if you can excuse me for a second, I got
Yeah, he's got a hot call.
a little call I got to take here.
So,
Okay.
the media side,
Hello?
I've always believed in the media side, but the media side of my company has just promoted my real estate listings, and as some things have changed, in the market, I think there's a point in time where I'd kind of like to retire and find some people to refer my commercial business to, and read some books and put some more knowledge in my head. We all know that I need more knowledge.
I was going to ask one more question regarding the Riverfront development. Do they plan to buy up or move out places like the Bettis asphalt plants, or some of the other businesses?
That's the $1 million question, because
are they going to do this on the North Shore or the South Shore?
I think it's on both sides. But what I'm getting at is we've got to, we got to decide who gets the real estate deals. Like, are we going to put together? Are people going to contribute their real estate? Are we going to buy their real estate? Are the stakeholders, the guys that own the real estate, can they exploit it privately and change things? And that's kind of the dicey thing when it comes to real estate deals in Topeka, because Topeka totally likes to choke a real estate deal and make sure who gets it and who's going to get what. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from the research side of it. I did a tax incremental financing project called College Hill. And I'm telling you, I would have been much better off as a citizen and an investor by just selling my property and working on a fee basis for the developer. I had 3 properties out of 41, and where everybody else was making over 3 times the appraised value, I had to take single appraised value, because in the long run, I was supposed to profit from it, but never did. We had a downturn in the economy. In College Hill, there's more sides to that than the common people know. So there was a shortfall in the TIF bonds, but it was backed by the full faith and credit of the city. So, they want to blame me for the shortfall, but the city was one of the worst public partners I've ever had, So we just have to make sure that the common Joe and Jolene are the voters, the taxpayers. This doesn't turn into a boondoggle. And also too, from the other side of it, well, the stakeholders shouldn't have all the downside risk, but they shouldn't also have all the capital come from the taxpayer. Any of that add up?
Yeah, I know. I can see that, it's in other words, it's just as long as it isn't a yoke around the necks of the Topeka taxpayers or the Topeka city budget.
Well, right. Let's fix our streets first, and then so we can drive to the river safely.
Yeah, I think it's that was another thing that we had a long. It was a difficult. Our roads were looking pretty bad around here on many of the freeways in Detroit, and they have greatly improved the surface of our freeways. And we have an extensive freeway system here in Detroit. They're going to have to redo the I-94, which is that's going to be a huge project. That I-94 dates back to 1953, and it's been rehabbed. I don't know how many times over the years, but they're going to completely rebuild the freeway. They recently rebuilt the I-75. That's the famous freeway that goes all the way from the tip of Florida all the way up to the tip of the Upper Peninsula, and they redid the I-75 through Detroit. It was been a long time project, but they finally got it done. So, but it costs money, and luckily our governor, Governor Whitmer, her campaign was fix the damn roads, and to her credit, they have been fixing them. So,
well, I mean, just recently, our city showed. I don't want to use the word stupid, but they had no business buying a hotel, and if we'd have put some economic development money into the expo center, is this the hotel, Marshall, that I stayed at? It's on the north shore of the Kansas River. No, not at all. That's not that one. And Marshall's not in the room right now. He's
I think it was a Ramada.
He's either in the sandbox or on a phone call. He stepped out. So we can't just number one, the city of Topeka shouldn't be in the hotel business. The city of Topeka paid $7.6 million for it, and this is one of those cases where they had a $7.6 million offer, and it's one of those days. Sometimes your first offer is your best offer, and not only that, they never counter offered it. The consultant that they have is he's already made $540,000, and they were smug, rude, and they, it's just kind of makes your head pop.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you, Henry.
Yeah, let's get the hotel settled. Let's get our roads, and then let's start talking about the river.
Good plan.
And whatever you do, don't have city invest in any Red Lobster restaurants.
I'm going to make a prediction here live on the Topeka Factor. Within the next 5 years, you'll see McDonald's rebranded selling healthy food across the board.
That would be it.
And how about if you see Red Lobster rebranded as Rock Lobster?
Do you know that Coca-Cola
with our breakfast sandwich, which we're going to call the B-52?
Coca-Cola actually just subsidized McDonald's by $5 billion because they're in trouble.
Wow.
Yeah.
McDonald's is in trouble?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Well, Henry McClure. This is my life. But I mean, you can put two and two together. I've been in the mall business for 40 years. Okay. And so it's just cyclical. So here's what's happened. McDonald's day has come. It's not a good value.
Oh, they're trying to rebrand and
No, they're not
reprice.
trying to. Sales. The consumer
Yeah,
is going to rebrand them.
right.
Their sales are off. I mean, I think they came out with something to compete with the Happy Meal, like it was like the unhappy meal. I don't know.
People are spending
But when
less.
Coca-Cola, think how much Coke sells through McDonald's. And so if they're going to subsidize McDonald's by $5 billion, there's something on the horizon. I mean, you got to just see the trends. It's pretty simple.
May I ask you a question, Henry? You mentioned that you're in commercial real estate, correct me
Yes,
if I'm
sir.
wrong. And you mentioned that you are involved in shopping malls. How is the mall situation in the Topeka area? There's been a number of our malls here in Metro Detroit have closed. One of them was right near me, called Eastland Mall, and it was one of the first suburban malls created in 1957, and it finally fizzled out about 3 years ago. The property was bought, and they mowed the whole mall down, including the famous J.L. Hudson's department store, which is an iconic department store, similar to what's the one in Philadelphia? Gimbels. There was Gimbels, and there was Macy's and stuff like that. J.L. Hudson's was a massive department store chain, and they're gone now. But Eastland Mall was purchased. The property was purchased by a company that created three massive shipping receiving warehouses that have semi truck bays where you can bring you can store stuff. It's sort of like similar to an Amazon storage facility, the Amazon warehouse. But anybody as a corporation can rent space in these three massive units. So that's what they've been having to do with some of the malls around here. Some are dying, some are still prospering. So I was wondering if you had the same problem.
The Reader's Digest version of that, real quick, is so we were the second owners. We meaning the Macerich Company, who's now the third largest mall owner in the country. And they're traded on the New York Stock Exchange, MAC. We were the second owners of White Lakes. And Mel Simon, who's the largest mall owner in the country, developed Westridge Mall in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay. So when they developed Westridge, what they did was they stole our Sears and Penny, and JCP Realty owns their own land and building, and they put Penny there. So they also own 35% of the mall with Simon. Sears owned their own land and building, and Mace had to fly to Chicago and actually make a deal with Ron Ruth because Simon wanted to buy Sears at White Lakes because they owned their own land and building there. So Mace wrote a check for $750,000 and to purchase Sears in Topeka, and it said on the memo, contract to follow. And I've got that around here somewhere. I just would love to find it. So
that mall, the mall that I'm telling you about, the one here in suburban Detroit, that Eastland Mall did have a Sears and a JCPenney along with the famous J.L. Hudson's department store. So, but it's all gone.
Well, so here's what happened out at Westridge was the Sears added 50,000 feet. Penny's doubled their size. We added 300,000 foot of fashion between the Jones store and Dillard's.
Macy's. And Macy's?
Well, the evolution.
Right.
Jones became Macy, right?
Okay.
Okay. So you had 5 owners of Westridge Mall. 5 owners, 5 different owners. The anchors all owned their own building, and then the developer just owned the common area and what later on became Montgomery Ward when they moved Ward out there. So I don't know. Do you have relatives? I mean, brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child, believe it or
Well,
not.
just imagine
Anymore.
Thanksgiving dinner at the Westridge Mall with all the owners. You know, not everybody gets along. But developers and retailers all think differently. So that in itself, so that in itself, as time marches on now, creates a whole different can of worms. So today, Furniture Mall owns their own property. Penny's, I think, is sick. Dillard's has to have security in the mall.
For shoplifting.
Yeah. And Sears sits vacant. Then Ward's and the common area was bought by a local investor, Cody Foster and Advisors Excel, and that will be what that purchase is what will keep that mall alive. The fact that Cody will now relocate his business in there, and it will be a beautiful place for Advisors Excel to be and do business. And they're I think they have like 800 employees now.
Really?
I'm not sure. I met the 13th employee walking the mall. She's cute.
So there you go.
But so and then now White Lakes, I sold the Sears building in 9 acres to Mainline Printing in 2004. And then eventually they ended up buying the rest of the property, tore it down, and it's going through its whole phase. I referred that business to the Coldwell Banker people.
So in the case of existing malls, we're seeing a lot of repurposing.
Yeah, they're good real estate, and they've just got to be recycled.
In the case of some of these suburban malls that Bob's talking about, and here in Topeka, the White Lakes Mall, you're actually having demolition, and then you've got commercially zoned land, which also needs to be repurposed into something.
Here's what the universe doesn't really understand is how cyclical retail is. I mean, if you look back,
well, yeah.
I mean, Montgomery Ward and Sears were the Amazons of 1900.
Sure.
You could actually have a house delivered to you from the Sears catalog.
There are several of those here in Topeka.
Yeah, so
and nationwide.
I use Amazon all the time. Did you see how I repurposed that newspaper stand out there?
Yeah.
It's just so simple. I bought Dial soap the other day because I couldn't find gold. I've used Dial soap my whole life, right? And I like the gold bar better. So I bought it on Amazon, had it shipped.
Yeah, I bought I
bought all this equipment on Amazon. That computer, all the microphones, everything I got going.
Yeah, one thing about Amazon is that you can order something and then 2-3 days later it's here.
The next day.
Yeah.
The next day. And I'm telling you, I had an Amazon lady out in the parking lot taking pictures, and I walked out, what's going on? She goes, hey, how's your service? Are you getting your deliveries? I showed her the box there. Oh, that's so nice. The Amazon in my parking lot checking it out.
Did you want to hear more about McDonald's? As long as that subject's been brought up?
Am I right or wrong?
Well, let me try to enlarge this again. Okay. This is something that, according to McDonald's own app, medium fries in 2019 were $1.79. Now they're $4.19. A cheeseburger was $1 in 2019, which I think is probably the last time I actually bought a cheeseburger at McDonald's. And now they are $3.15. 10 McNuggets is now $7.58. And McChicken is now $3.89. And a Big Mac $7.49.
But it's also gotten smaller.
Yeah, there's a term for that, and I can't remember what it is.
It's called downsizing.
Yeah. So I was reading, I think in the.
So did you hear all my numbers? Do you hear all those numbers?
Yeah.
You see why it's intuition. Sometimes real estate's just intuition. Besides that and and Coke subsidizing, you're going to see.
People
I'm not that smart, but
people have less money to spend now.
But it's not a good value.
On dining out, so they're not going out
McDonald's
as much as they
is
used
not
to.
a good value anymore, and it's not good for you.
Well, there's that, and the things they
Hey,
do.
you okay, Bob?
Oh, I'm okay. Just one little cough. One little cough.
Okay.
And then
I
I'm
thought you
going
were
to
choking on a McNugget.
I'm not wanting to be a party pooper, but I have to go down to the office and meet somebody at 12:30.
All right, let's go. Let's get moving. Let's wrap up the show.
I will let you go.
Bob, it's
Hey, Bob.
Bob, it's
Next Thursday.
next Thursday?
Or next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
I don't know what day it is.
Oh.
What does it matter to me? I woke up. I feel great.
Today's the 22nd. Next Wednesday would be the 29th.
So this is Wednesdays at that would be let me see if I get this right. 10:30 in the morning
Right.
Central Time.
10:30 Central Time. The Topeka Factor
Yes.
returns to the internet.
11:30. All right, Henry Marshall, thank you very much
No,
for having me on.
Thank you, and we definitely need to be in touch regarding our Kiwi.rock project.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I gotta
Oh,
get.
by the way, if you want to read anything more about what they've been doing with the Detroit Riverfront, there's a good summary on Wikipedia.
Okay.
It's under the listing Detroit International Riverfront.
Okay, we'll look that up.
International Riverfront, and that's that's sort of our tourist attraction. It as I say, it extends from the Ambassador Bridge all the way to Belle Isle, and they're trying to clean up the area and make things nicer.
And something about Detroit, I've been reading from time to time. You've had an angel, the guy who has what is it, Rocket Mortgage? What's his last name? Gilbert?
Oh yes, Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert, who's invested billions in the rebuilding of Detroit, and
yep,
he
has refurbished any buildings in the downtown area that would have met the wrecking ball. And he also built a brand new building right on the site of the old famous J.L. Hudson downtown building. J.L. Hudson's was imploded a number of years ago, and the area remained empty. They were wondering when they were going to build something on that land. Well, they finally did. They just topped off the final girder at the top, and the building is called the Hudson Building in honor of the former J.L. Hudson's department store. So, the new occupant of the Hudson Building is going to be General Motors. They're moving their corporate offices from the Renaissance Center over to the Hudson Building.
I did a General Motors deal in Tampa. They took 152,000 square feet and they put a call center in there. And that was the biggest deal I've ever done in my life. And it was John Hancock was my client, and they just got whatever they want, carte blanche.
That's a big deal.
That was a big deal. That was a real big deal.
The Topeka Factor was a big deal show. Also, we'll take little deals.
What's that, Bob?
You mentioned John Hancock. You're referring to the insurance company?
Yeah. A lot of the malls are financed by the insurance companies. Like Mace Rich, we had Northwestern Mutual was our favorite partner, but we did deals with Prudential, Citibank. Mace Rich had a deal with John Hancock too, but I was working independently as a broker.
I see.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. I think we're going to sign off.
Thank you for the round of applause there.
All right. Have a good one, Bob.
Thank you.
Bye.
So long, everybody. Bye-bye.
So I was wondering how he was hearing the applause. So how was he getting that? I don't know.
Getting what?
The applause. I mean,
I don't know.
maybe it was over the phone.
Must be over the phone line.
How'd that
Yeah.
work? Well, all right. Hey, we're live. Here, I'll get. That's TikTok.
That's TikTok.
Okay, so we're gonna end. Oh, this is here, and we're gonna figure out. We're gonna get more organized as time goes on.
As time goes on, this program will be more TikTok-y.
I love you. Okay.